You're listening to I've Been Cooking, where chefs and food lovers take apart delicious dishes and piece by piece tell the story of how they're made. I'm Andrea, and I hope you enjoyed today's show.
It seems like everywhere you look these days, there's a new plant-based this or that.
Yeah.
But plant-based dumplings, I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it's funny how the shift to plant-based eating is changing even the most traditional foods.
Exactly. And to really dig into this, we're looking at this article, Exploring the Rise of Plant-Based Dumplings, a fusion of tradition and modern nutrition by Mei Chen. I was looking at her background. It's really fascinating. She was born in Shanghai. Her family ran a restaurant, so she was exposed to all these different kinds of Chinese cuisine from when she was little.
Wow, talk about a perfect foundation for someone who's exploring how a classic dish like dumplings is changing, huh?
Then she ends up moving to the U.S. to study nutrition, and now she's a culinary nutritionist in San Francisco. She developed all these healthy, Asian-inspired recipes. It's like the perfect mix of experience.
So she's really in a unique position to speak to both the traditional and the modern sides of dumplings.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting, you know. We're going to uncover the history of dumplings, explore all these different plant-based fillings, and get into all the health and environmental benefits. Plus, we'll touch on Mei Chen's personal take on making these dumplings that are both delicious and nutritious.
And hey, don't forget, you can find more info about us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio.
That's right. And for bonus content, recipes, all that good stuff, make sure you check out our website and social media pages. You know, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, the whole 9 yards. But for now, let's get back to dumplings. Okay, I think we should start by acknowledging just how popular these little pockets of deliciousness really are, right? They're everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. Dumplings are totally global, but their history, especially in China, is super interesting. During Lunar New Year celebrations, dumplings are way more than just a food, you know?
It's wild how certain foods get tied into traditions like that, isn't it? But when we think of traditional dumplings, we usually picture things like pork, chicken, or shrimp,
Right.
right?
Yeah, for sure. And that's where Mei Chen's article goes in a different direction. She's talking about how plant-based alternatives are getting super popular now. Things like tofu, mushrooms, sweet potatoes, and spinach are becoming the go-to ingredients for dumpling fillings.
Which makes a lot of sense when you think about what each ingredient adds nutritionally. Tofu, for instance, is a great source of protein, which is essential for, well, pretty much everything our bodies do. And it's got tons of calcium, which is super important for healthy bones.
You got it. And then there's that umami thing. Mushrooms are amazing at adding that deep, savory flavor to food, making them a perfect swap for meat in terms of taste.
And it's not just about taste, right?
Mm.
They're packed with nutrients, too. Some types, like shiitake mushrooms, are known for their immune-boosting potential.
Let's not forget about sweet potatoes. They add this natural sweetness to the dumpling, you know? It balances out the savory flavor so well. Plus, sweet potatoes are full of fiber.
That's a great point. Because fiber isn't just about, well, you know, keeping things moving. It helps regulate blood sugar, keeps you feeling full longer, and even contributes to a healthy gut microbiome.
And then we have spinach, which gives the dumpling this awesome color and is a good source of iron. It's really important for making red blood cells and preventing fatigue. So it looks like there's a pattern here. These plant-based fillings aren't just replacements, they actually have unique flavors and are packed with nutrients.
Exactly. And that brings us to the bigger health benefits of going for plant-based dumplings. Mei Chen points out that plant-based fillings are generally lower in calories and fat compared to the traditional meat fillings.
Which is important for people watching their calories or trying to manage their weight, but it's not just about what's being taken away.
Exactly. It's about what you're getting instead. Plant-based dumplings are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that help you stay healthy overall.
And having more fiber helps with digestion and supports a healthy gut, which affects everything from your immune system to how you feel mentally, not to mention the environmental aspect.
That's a crucial point, right? Even choosing plant-based options for something like dumplings can be a part of making our food system more sustainable.
Totally agree. Cutting back on meat, even a little bit, can have a positive impact on the environment. So we've got delicious, healthy, and environmentally friendly dumplings. But the question is, can they really compete with the flavor of traditional dumplings?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think this is where Mei Chen's unique approach comes in. She talks about taking her family's traditional methods and combining them with these new, vibrant, plant-based ingredients.
That's a cool concept. She's not just swapping ingredients, she's adapting her knowledge of traditional Chinese cooking to make something fresh and new, but still familiar.
And she really stresses how important spices are for boosting the flavor. Things like ginger, garlic, and soy sauce can take the taste to a whole other level.
She even suggests trying different kinds of dumpling wrappers. Like using whole wheat wrappers adds a nutty flavor and even more fiber.
It's all about finding that balance between great taste and good nutrition.
And that's where Mei Chen's expertise really shines. She's not just following a trend, she's using her cultural heritage and knowledge about nutrition to elevate a beloved dish.
It's a perfect example of how tradition can change without losing its core,
Yeah.
right? But what really stands out to you about this whole plant-based dumpling thing?
Well, I think what's really fascinating is, how this whole plant-based dumpling thing ties into the cultural side of dumplings. We were talking about how important they are during Chinese New Year, but they mean so much more than that, right?
You're right. It's not just about eating, it's about family. Being together, good luck, all of that. I read somewhere that making dumplings is often a family thing, like different generations doing it together.
Exactly. You have grandparents, parents, kids, everyone all together folding and filling these little dumplings. It's a beautiful way to connect and share traditions, you know?
It really shows how food can bring generations and cultures together. And it makes me wonder, could plant-based dumplings be a way to introduce these traditions to even more people?
That's a great point. For folks who haven't really eaten a lot of plant-based food before, this could be a really easy way to start. It's familiar, comforting, and opens up a whole new world of flavors.
Yeah, it's like we're giving this classic dish a modern makeover while still keeping its roots.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to say it. It goes back to Mei Chen's idea of plant-based dumplings being a fusion of tradition and modern nutrition. She's not ditching the past, she's building on it. She's using what she knows to create something delicious and relevant for people who are health conscious today.
And we can't forget about the environmental side of it all. Choosing plant-based fillings, even for something as small as a dumpling, can be a step toward lessening our impact on the environment.
Absolutely. It all makes a difference. It's not just about being healthy ourselves, it's about the planet's health too. And that's something a lot of people are thinking about more and more these days.
So if we had to sum all this up for our listeners, what would be the main takeaway?
I think the most important thing is that eating plant-based doesn't have to be boring or limiting. It can be a fun, delicious, and culturally rich way to try new flavors and make choices that are good for both us and the planet.
It could be a way to connect with tradition in a whole new way.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between what's good for us, what's good for the earth, and what just tastes amazing. And I think plant-based dumplings hit all those marks.
You know what? Talking about all this delicious food is making me crave dumplings. This deep dive has definitely made me want to try making some plant-based ones myself.
That's great. And hey, if you're feeling inspired too, remember we have tons of resources on our website and social media.
Oh, yeah. Before we wrap up, let's remind everyone where they can find us online. We're on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up I've Been Cooking.
And if you're enjoying these deep dives, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. We've got tons of awesome food adventures coming up.
Now, to finish off this delicious deep dive, I want to leave you with a question. What other traditional dishes could we reimagine with plant-based ingredients?
Something to think about as you head into the kitchen, right? Remember, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, it's amazing how food can be a way to explore, different cultures, traditions, even just our own creativity when we're cooking.
It's true. And in this case, it's all about finding that perfect mix, where tradition meets new ideas, taking something classic like the dumpling and kind of rethinking it for today, for people who are more health conscious and care about the environment.
And the cool thing is, it doesn't feel like we're losing anything, right? We're not getting rid of what makes the dish special. We're just making it even better. It's like a perfect example of how food traditions can change and grow without losing their soul.
I like that, respecting the past while being open to new things. And sometimes those unexpected combos, like plant-based dumplings, can be the most delicious and satisfying.
Totally agree. I think we've really covered the world of plant-based dumplings today. Big thanks to Mei Chen for her awesome article and for sharing her passion for bringing together traditional cooking with modern nutrition.
Definitely. Her work is a great example of how we can think about food in a way that's good for both us and the planet.
And if you're feeling inspired to try your own plant-based dumplings, remember to check out our website and social media for recipes and all sorts of tips. We're on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search for I've Been Cooking.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. We have a lot more culinary explorations coming up for you.
Until next time, happy cooking, everyone.
Hi, it's Jamie, and if you enjoyed today's episode of I've Been Cooking, we'd love for you to share it. Leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new recipe. Do you know someone who loves cooking as much as you do? Send this episode their way. And hey, let's stay connected. You can find us on Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook at I've Been Cooking. Tag us to show off your creations and join a community of food lovers worldwide. And if you want to chat with us directly, we're always hanging out on Discord. You'll find the link to join in the footer of our website at ivebeen.cooking. Until next time.